welcome back to the You at Your Best podcast. I'm your host, Morgan. For this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about having an intentional Christmas. I'm going to share traditions that I want to start, my bucket list, my intentions for this Christmas season. Before we get into the episode, I just want to give a little bit of an intro, just kind of explaining what I want for Christmas, the type of Christmas that I've really been craving. I've been craving more of a slower, meaningful Christmas this year. This episode is about being intentional, focusing on joy, connection, and gratitude rather than perfection and trends. I've spent so much of my life being so worried about how things look, and I don't care anymore. I don't want to care. First of all, I'm going to talk about my 2025 Christmas bucket list and traditions that I want to start with my family. What I would describe as what I want for Christmas time is home and togetherness. That's the best way that I could describe it. I kind of have like a list of things that either my bucket list or traditions is kind of all over the place. First thing I have is decorating as a family with no theme. I like the idea of people having a new Christmas theme every year. I always thought that was so cute, but that's never really been me. Growing up, whenever my mom, my brother, and I were living with my grandparents, we would decorate the Christmas tree. Usually my brother, my grandma, and I would decorate it, and that was one of my favorite memories from my childhood. We always loved Christmas. My brother and I would get so excited. I loved how there would be a specific time where my family would wrap presents in the bedroom, and then my brother and I, they'd close the door, and then we would just go to the door and put our ears on the door and try to sneak in, and it was just so fun. Sometimes they would get annoyed at us, but most of the time they thought it was funny. And I just remember the magic of Christmas overall. My grandmother would decorate the house for Christmas, and even whenever we weren't living with my grandmother and we were living with my mom's best friend, even then my mom made sure to make Christmas so magical. And we never had a lot of money, so she didn't have the money to buy us a bunch of stuff, but that wasn't even what was important. And I think us not getting a bunch of stuff, it really made me humble, and it really made me realize the importance of Christmas. For my family, I really like the idea of not having a theme, of not having a specific, each year, I think it's so cool whenever people have different themes, but my childhood and the thing that made me the happiest was whenever we would decorate with what we already had and using the decorations and ornaments on the tree, putting them on there however we wanted, no matter how bad it looked. I love that. I think it's the most nostalgic thing ever. And there's some parts of my home that I like to decorate and make more trendy, but for the Christmas tree specifically, I want to save that for a family thing. The next thing I have is using what we already have. My boyfriend and I technically have only been living on our own for not even 2 years fully. April will be 2 years of us living by ourselves without being in someone else's home, so we don't have a lot of stuff accumulated, and we also don't have the money to just go out and buy a bunch of new stuff. So we're using what we have, and also mostly hand-me-downs from family members rather than buying the new things that are trendy and probably won't be trending next year. Have a collection of stuff that we use every single year. I love being sustainable about things. That's really important to me, and I think it's okay to go out and buy new stuff sometimes. I think it's really great to have balance between new and old, but it's a really great way to not only help the planet but also to save our bank accounts and our mental health if we just use things that we already have instead of having to go out and buy new stuff all the time. Baking cookies together, which we actually already did, reading Christmas books with our daughter, making a Christmas playlist, having a cozy night with friends, or a Christmas marathon, visiting Christmas markets. I've never been to a Christmas market, but I've always seen pictures of them on Pinterest, and I just always feel like it looks so fun and so pretty, going and seeing Christmas lights and just spending slower evenings together, making Christmas less about going out and doing stuff and more about being present and enjoying what we have. I have this problem where I'm always wanting to go and do the next best thing, but what I'm trying to learn and trying to be better at is being present and enjoying what I have in the moment, even if it's not a perfect moment. Okay, and then for Christmas morning, I really want to do what we did with my family. I know some families like to get ready and everything on Christmas morning before they open gifts and do gifts later on in the day. I really love the idea of waking up super early in the morning, opening gifts, and then staying in our PJs all day. And if we end up having to go somewhere someone else has a dinner or something, that's fine. But just having that time in the morning to stay in our PJs, to use and play with all of our new gifts. My family, they always had finger foods on Christmas morning. And I forgot to say this, but my birthday is actually on Christmas. So my family would always have a birthday cake for me and foods that I like So I would love to do that, just like being able to just relax on Christmas morning and not have to worry about getting ready, not have to worry about anything like that. And I also am the type of person that loves going out and doing stuff. So it's nice to have both on Christmas Day, to have the morning where we can just lay around doing nothing. We open our gifts super early, we stay in our PJs. And then later on the day, once I start getting a little bit bored, to be able to get ready, get all dressed up, look cute, and then go to someone else's house and be around people. Actually, I have one more thing that I want to say that I didn't include on the list, but I think is really important for this episode. Doing self-care, but I don't mean only buying things and using products on your skin and taking care of your skin and stuff like that. While that's important, by self-care, I mean taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, listening to your body, listening to your intuition, journaling, processing your emotions, reflecting on your emotions and your actions and your behaviors, and growing as a person, healing as a person, doing that work that is so important for all of us to do. The next category that I have, it's acts of kindness and gratitude. I want to keep generosity at the center of Christmas. I want to teach my daughter that the meaning of Christmas isn't to receive all the time. It's to receive. Yes, it's important for us to be loved and to receive things that we need and that would make us happy, but it's also important for us to give to others. I want her to know that it's a two-way street. You got to give and you also get to receive. So I want to teach her the importance of, even whenever money is tight, even whenever it's hard and we don't have the money to do a lot of things, we do have so much resources and so much help from the people around us that we have a lot of stuff and we're so privileged. And I want her to be aware of that, not out of shame. I don't want to shame her for being privileged. I don't want to shame her for having things that she didn't choose to have. I just want her to understand that we are so privileged for what we have, and there are other people who have way less than us, so we can be kind and use our privilege to help those people instead of using our privileges to tear those people down and bring ourselves up more. I think it's such an important aspect of life to be kind, and as I've been healing and I've been on my healing journey, something that I've really learned is that kindness should be at the center of everything that we do. With ourselves, with other people. Whenever kindness is at the center of what you do, you can literally change the world. Our generation is kind of starting to realize that, and I think our generation is making a turn where in the past things were more about me and what I want and my family. Now it's more about what can I do to help others with the privilege that I have, and I think that's so important, and I love that our generation is making that shift. So examples that I want to give that I think are really useful and things that you can do if maybe you don't have a lot of money. I think if you have a lot of money, you have a lot more access to helping others. But even if you don't, it still is your job to bring kindness into the world. Some things that you could do is donating clothes, donating foods to food banks, just donating things to people in need instead of keeping it all for ourselves. If you love baking, you could bake cookies or make holiday treats for people. My granny does that a lot, but actually both of my grandmothers, they do that. They really love making treats for people and giving them out. Sending heartfelt notes, being kind to people, that's such an amazing gift. It's just being nice. Like, you don't have to buy or do anything to be nice to someone. I think like a great gift, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on people, or if you just don't find it necessary to spend money on people, is to write them a letter or make something for them, showing them that you love them. I think for me, something that I would absolutely love is like receiving a letter of someone telling me things that they love about me. That would make me feel so loved, and that's an amazing gift that you could gift to people. I think that's so sweet. And like even doing that for kids, just really teaching them that the season is less about what they receive, like physical things, and more about kindness and love. That's a really great thing to teach them. Another thing that you could do is just spending time with someone, giving someone your time and your energy, listening to them if they have something that they need to talk about, just being kind overall to the people that you care about and everyone in general. I think everyone deserves kindness. And then lastly, for the acts of kindness and gratitude part, I want to talk about how I want to raise my daughter with this mindset of being kind to other people. I think it's so important that we treat other people as if they're important. And I think it's also important that we teach our daughter that she's not better than anyone else. She's not above anyone else. She doesn't deserve more than anyone else. but she also does deserve stuff. She deserves love, and so does everyone else. It's really important for me to teach her and to get her to understand that she should be kind and gentle with herself first, so that she's able to be kind and gentle with everyone else. And I think that's so important. We need to take care of ourselves first so that we're able to give to other people, because we are the ones that's inside of our bodies. We are the ones that are experiencing what we're experiencing. And if we don't take care of that, it's really difficult to take care of other people without building resentment or experiencing intense burnout. Okay, lastly, I want to talk about what I'm letting go of this year. Last year, I really struggled with a lot of shame around Christmas time. I remember scrolling on social media and feeling like my home didn't look as good as anyone else's. I couldn't afford the trendy decorations or like matching setups or anything that looks well curated. All I had was what was given to me and the little amount of things that we were able to buy, because it wasn't in our budget to be able to buy those things and buy a bunch of Christmas things. And during that time, I didn't understand that the average person is not able to live up to those standards. Social media is kind of making us believe that it's normal to have so much stuff in your home and to constantly overconsume. But truth is, it's not normal. Everyday life is not like that. And last year I didn't understand that. This year I do understand that. So I'm trying to stay away from social media, and I'm trying to stay away from, not necessarily like staying away from social media as in I don't ever go on Instagram or TikTok, because I do all the time, but kind of distancing myself from that and realizing that yes, it's okay to scroll sometimes, and sometimes that's really useful for me. It's a form of self-care for me whenever I just need to distract myself from my very overactive brain. But whenever I'm watching it, I keep a distance in my mind and I keep it in my head. If I'm starting to feel bad, I need to get off. Most of the time, I'm really good at keeping myself in social media and what I see online at a distance, if that makes sense. But that's really important to me, because at that time, I didn't realize that those trends are literally designed to make you feel behind, to make you want to buy more. I just thought that everyone else somehow had it more together than I did, and I felt so much shame about that. But this year, I see it differently. I see how fake and exhausting that cycle can be. I don't want to feel small because I'm not keeping up. I don't want to miss the real moments trying to chase a perfect picture. So this year, I'm letting go of the comparison, the shame, and the ideas that my Christmas has to look like other people's, has to look trendy. It's about what it feels like for me. And for me personally, those feelings are love, peace, and togetherness. That's the most important thing for me whenever it comes to life overall, but especially Christmas time and the holiday season. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, because I kind of see all those together as Christmas time personally. And then the things that I'm letting go of entirely are overspending, overconsumption, perfectionism, trying to make everything Pinterest perfect, and guilt for not doing enough. Those are the things that I have realized I don't need. And truth is, all of those are kind of rooted in shame for me. And something that I have learned through my healing journey is that shame is never needed. And before I end this episode, I want to include that I think it's important that we have these ideas and we remember the realities of real life. But I also think it's important to remember that we're all human, and anyone who falls victim to consumerism, overconsumption, social media's perfectionistic ideas, I don't want to put myself above them or think in my head that I'm better than them because I know better than them and like I'm smarter than them almost, because we're all human and it's so normal for all of us to experience this. Our brains are literally wired for this kind of thing. Our brains are wired to want the next best thing instead of focusing on what's good in the moment. So we literally have to work against our brain's natural wiring to do this, and that's very difficult. So I'm not making this episode to shame anyone that struggles with overconsumerism or anything like that. I'm just making this episode to explain how I want my Christmas to be and to remind people that you don't have to live up to those standards. If you want to, and if it makes you happy, I think that's totally okay, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think it can get to a point to where overconsumerism is really bad for the environment, and that's not okay. But overall, I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to make things good and live up to those standards, but only if it's something that you like. But people like me, where it feels like you have to, this episode is for those people, the people that don't want to keep up, want to be more intentional, but almost kind of feel like they can't or they're not allowed to. I just wanted to remind you that the Christmas time is not about looking the best or being the best in person or online. It's about how Christmas time and the holidays make you feel. It's about being present and taking care of yourself year round, but especially during these times where it's more stressful. Showing gratitude and love to the people that you have in your life and to people that you don't know at all. It's about giving and being kind and showing kindness to other people so that they realize that they don't have to be in constant state of defending themselves anymore. The more we show kindness to people, the more they start to understand that they're allowed to be kind too. Because truth is, as humans, we all want to be kind, but some of us are unkind because we have been taught that that's the only way we can survive. So being kind to people can help teach people that they can let go of that need to constantly be understood and instead focus on understanding themselves, getting to know who they are. If a lot of people continue doing that, we could literally change the world. And for my daughter, whenever I think about what I want her to remember for Christmas time, it's not how perfect everything looks. And she won't remember that anyways. What she'll remember is the smell of the cookies that we've made, laughter, cozy mornings, feeling loved. That's what Christmas really is. And that's what I want all of us to remember. This episode wasn't really a reflection or an insight episode. I've decided that I want to have some episodes where it's just like seasonal and I just talk about these things. So this is more like a seasonal episode. But for the journal prompt, I want you to ask yourself, what are 3 things that I want to let go of this holiday season? And that's all that I have for this week's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you could, please share my podcast and rate my podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next Sunday.